Hey guys, welcome to what I hope will be a multi-part series, basically called I Read Books and Tell You What I Think About Them. Today we are talking about Next by Michael Crichton. If I don't know if I'm saying his name right, hopefully I am. If y'all don't know who he is the guy who wrote the Jurassic Park books. Initial thoughts on the book personally, I think it's a pretty solid read. I think the best way that I want to put the way that I feel about it is it feels more like a cautionary tale than a book, right? So the book talks about companies like patenting and owning cells. It has to do with sometimes chimpanzees don't seem that far removed from humans, not in like a conspiracy theory way, but in a just like our family trees are semi-connected kind of way, and stuff like that. But then it gets into like gene hacking and gene modifying and like biogen and like all of that kind of stuff, right? The other thing that kind of goes along with that I think makes it almost more of a cautionary tale, some of it's based in fact, some of it's obviously fiction, but there are several concurrent plot lines that some run into each other and some never touch each other. As a good example, there's one who this guy works at a lab and they're testing this like gas on rats, and his brother accidentally inhales some, and like for a while that ends up being kind of a good thing, and then it's really bad for like other reasons. But then there's this whole other plot line where like the courts are trying to recover these cells, so they go after a mother and her child, and she does coincide with a storyline where this guy was part of an experiment a few years back where his DNA ended up inside of a chimpanzee, so now he's like a chimp dad, and like he and his wife like adopt this kid, and like it gets a little convoluted. There's not enough TikTok for me to go through the whole plot. I think ultimately what helps with the book is also the grievance of just like there's a lot going on. I think it's a really interesting read. I think it's realistically something that I'm not super gunning to read again. It's something you finish, right, and you're kind of like, that was really interesting. And then like there's a good chance you're probably done with it for a while, right? I don't know. That's how I felt about it anyway. Feel free to disagree, of course. It's the internet. As far as should I read this book, I say if that is something that appeals to you, if you have heard me talk about it and you go, what the hell is that? Sure, go pick it up. I do believe this is the last book that Michael wrote before he died, so if that has any appeal to you, since he was a pretty well-known author for the Jurassic Park books, if nothing else, then I'd say pick it up. The one thing that I will say is if this like science-y stuff is not something you're interested in at all, I might give it a pass. Not because I don't think it's good, but because like it does get a little dense in places. And if that's not something you're interested in, I just think those sections confuse somebody, right? So, all in all, I think it's a pretty alright read. If y'all have read it or decide to pick it up and have thoughts, feel free to hop in the comments and let me know.